me.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Phoebe Thomas, and today we will be racing in the Formula One Racing League. It is going to be another Grand Prix on the Chinese Grand Prix, the Chinese track, the Shanghai International Circuit, if I'm not mistaken. We had one last week too, where it was OMR, but today it is going to be in the Formula One Racing League. It seems like it's raining in the qualifying, which is always going to give us some great some interesting things happening on track, of course, as we're currently on board with Groen, which is the Aston Martin driver. Groen not in the top 10 of the Drivers' Championship, I'm afraid. He's also a racing driver in TTRL, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. Currently in P17, still in an outlap. You might want to tackle what the track looks like. You've got turn 1, which is a long right-hander. Turn 2, long right-hander. We've got turn 3, a fast left-hander. And then we've got turn 4, a fast right-hander. Coming into sector 2, we've got, we can actually look at someone who's in there right now. Matko, fast right-hander, as you can see. A long right-hander. You've got turn 2, a long left-hander. A very slow one, too. As you really need a lot of wings to come through this part of the track. The guys who are running the intermediate tires might not be too happy with that. I mean, obviously, you need to run intermediates on this track at the moment. Into sector 2, we've got turn 5, hard braking zone to the right. A little bit of a U-turn. And we've got a long straight. Coming into turn 6, long left-hander. You really need to watch out with your tire overheating through this part of the track, as it's a very fast track. Into turn 7, long right-hander. We've got turn 8. It's going to be a fast left-hander, another fast left-hander, which is going to be turn 9, and then we've got that little straight here coming into sector 3. Into sector 3, we have got turn 10 and 11. Turn 10 is going to be that 90 degrees corner. Turn 11, a long right-hander to go down the main straight. Fastest second sector already for Matko at the moment, the Slovakian driver. Oh, and he loses the car! Goes too fast on the throttle, and that is the problem you have coming out of sector 2. Your tires will be overheated, mainly because it is a very fast part of that track. You might want to go on board with Foxy, who is still on an outlap. So we've got Pitomo also on an outlap. He's also invalidated that lap, so he's not going to be able to put... Oh, and he goes too deep into that corner. Is it maybe already wet tire? It might be wet tire time, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's go on board with Geldy, who's currently entering sector 2. And Geldy, he is one of those guys who I did not expect anything from this season, but seems like he's not doing a bad job at all. I'm just going to have a quick look with the Drivers' Championship. He doesn't seem to be in the top 10. No, it's the other way around. I expected a lot from Geldy, but he's not in the top 10. So I'm not sure what is up with Geldy. I think he's just not very consistent with attendance. That might be it. Or he's just crashing every race. I have no idea. But he's not in the top 10. Alpine is neither in the top 10. As we've got both the McLaren drivers in the top 3 in the Drivers' Championship. Both Youngie and Rhino Hussey doing an amazing job. Youngie, one of the faster guys here in Division 2. And I can definitely see him grab a pole for today. He is on a fast lap. He's just entered one. You might want to go on board with the McLaren driver. Here he comes around the last corner. He's going on a fast one, apparently. Here he is. Coming down the line with a 143.8. That is going to be the fastest lap for now, but still a lot of gas to come across the line. Rhino Hussey, his teammate, is one of them. Melonade coming across the line to put a 143.1. 0.7 of an improvement on Youngie's time. And then we've got Merv coming across the line. The Mercedes driver putting a 143.0. Geldy, on the other hand, puts his first 142.4 of the session. And a lot of other guys have not been able to come across the line to put a 142 on the board. So Geldy is the only one for now. And that does mean that the track is getting faster and faster, because all the guys who came across the line already after each other just put a faster lap than the guy who came across the line. So it was first, I think it was Sean getting a pole, then it was Youngie, Melonade, Merv, then Tomo, and now it is Geldy. Tomo just came across the line. So Geldy actually with a 142.4. I think he's done in some practice. He just needs that consistency back in the race. Rhino Hussey, 400ths away from Geldy's time, puts himself in P2. Might want to go back to the front, to the back of the grid. Vettel, who's on a fast one. I think he's a German driver, if I'm not mistaken. Vettel in the Alfa Romeo at the moment. Still that beautiful Alfa Romeo livery. And I'm gonna be very sad with the F124 game when that Alfa Romeo livery is not there anymore. It's gonna be that kick steak livery with the green and the black. But as long as we can enjoy this beautiful livery, we should. And I'm gonna try and do some more commentary videos for you guys so you can see this beautiful livery even more. Here comes Vettel around the last corner, and that's Williams parking his car down the inside. He's gonna go on a fast one right now. I'm not sure what he's done that for, because he actually ruined his own fast lap by doing that. Vettel coming across the line to put himself in P3. Let's go back to Foxy. And Foxy, he's hopefully not going to spin coming through that fast right-hander. It doesn't look like it. Foxy, one of the faster guys here. Let's say not the fastest, but a consistent driver. He manages to get into the top 10. I think he's in P8 or P7. And that's just based on consistency. Getting points every race. Not necessarily winning every race, because that is linked with pace. But consistency gets you in the top 10. Race in, race out. And Foxy is one of those guys coming across the line to put himself in P8. Once again, a top 10 position for the Haas driver. Tonastic, who just comes across the line right in front of Fox. And it looks like he's joined a esports team. It says BGS. Where's that from the league? I'm not sure. But Tonastic putting himself in P8. Not a bad time at all. 143.6. It's once again a very close qualifying here at the top of the grid. Vettel and P. Tomo separated by half a tenth. Rhino Hussey and Geldy are in the same boat. Then we've got Melanade and Murph separated by about a tenth. Youngie dropped back to P7. So after his fastest lap attempt, pole time attempt, he just, dropped down even more. He got dropped down to P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, and now he's all the way in P7. But he's still hanging on tight. He is only 2 tenths away from top 5, 3 tenths actually. 3 tenths away from the top 5, so maybe he can come out on track again. There's still 9 more minutes in the qualifying here, so shouldn't be too difficult for the McLaren driver. Sean on a fast lap. He's currently in P9. As he's coming through Sector 2, let's see how he's going to tackle this part of the track. Sean, also one of those consistent guys, but not necessarily scoring points every race. It doesn't look like he's in the top. Is he in the top? No, I don't think he's in the top 10. He's not in the top 10. His teammate, Matko. No, it's Murph. Oh, I was already thinking like Matko. Matko is not in the Mercedes, but it's Murph. Both the guys running, starting their names with an M. Just making me quite confused sometimes. Is it already soft tire time? That is a good question, because it looks like the guys are getting faster, and it doesn't look like it's raining anymore here in Shanghai. And Tomo just came across the line to put himself on pole, improved by 13 thousandths to beat Geldy. Sean, it seems like he's not on a fast lap. Is he on one? Did he save another ERS? It does look like it, coming across the last corner. Will it be an improvement? It will be an improvement by 6 tenths, putting himself right behind his teammate Murph. And Sean puts himself in P6. I do think he has put in some practice on the track, because otherwise I don't see Sean getting himself in the top 6, if I'm being honest. And he might be watching this live stream later after the race or something, and might be a little bit frustrated with my how do I say this? With my, I'm not sure. With my comment, let's say it like that. Vindog coming across Sector 3 at the moment. And Vindog, one of those guys who hasn't put a lot of practice on track, but still manages to get some good performance on track. He's that kind of guy who says, I don't practice, but then practices for like 5 hours long the day before, and still manages to bin into the wall. So he's the new Benji Bucket from the Division 2. I'm not sure where Benji Bucket was racing. Was he Div 1, Div 2? I couldn't quite remember. Findog coming across the last corner. It might be a good improvement for the Williams driver. I think it will be a 134.0, putting himself in P5. And that is absolutely crazy. Right behind Rhino Hussey, right in front of Murph by 13,000. So another 13,000 here. We see that 13,000 gap between Tomo and Geldy too. Let's go on board with the Reaper, who is currently in P2 in the Drivers' Championship. He's on the medium tires apparently. He wants to test out those mediums, see how they're doing here in Shanghai during this weather condition. I think he's just testing out how fast he can go coming through that part of the track. It seems like he's struggling a little bit. He's still on that outlap though, so it shouldn't matter too much how fast or how slow he's going. The person in front of him might be running soft tires. Here comes the Reaper, weaving a little bit to warm up his tires. Wants to get past that Haas driver, also the Alfa Romeo going to the side. And I think that Haas driver is X. All the way P16 has put a 151.4. Here comes the Reaper already. He's going to get past that Haas driver. And is it already time to go onto the medium tires? I'm not 100% sure. I'm not convinced. I'm not sure actually. Because those medium tires, they're going to be even less grippier than those soft tires actually, which you usually take in the qualifying. And I can think, oh, it seems like he's sliding all over the place coming around that last corner. That might be turn 12 or turn 13. Around the last corner goes the Reaper, and he hasn't put any time on the board yet, so it's a big slicks are still 3 seconds slower according to Tenastic. So the Reaper, who's currently on the medium tires, should be way slower than the rest of the grid, who are still on intermediates. And AlphaTauri going into the grass, our personal lawnmower for today, as that might be Oranje Boom Brown, as Melonade is still in the pit lane. Reaper coming through sector 2 at the moment. Oh, and Youngie is the one to come across the line to take a provisional pole, 141.0. As the McLaren driver obviously trying to defend his P1 in the Drivers' Championship. Accordingly to Tenastic in the chat, it's getting less and less slower. And it's only 2 seconds now, so shouldn't matter too much. The Reaper, who's on those medium tires, I think he's still going to be able to put himself in the top 10. But I don't think he will be up for a pole position on these medium tires though. As you can see, he's sliding a little bit coming through that part of the track, which is not suggested to do so, because, you know, coming through 11, you want to have as much grip on your tires as possible, and as much grip on the track as possible, because it depends on the speed of your car down that straight. Depends on how you come through that last part of that first part of sector 3. So I'm not sure if that was the best way to do. If it's the best decision to go into the medium tires, actually putting himself in P16, only a P16 right in front of X. He's going to go for another one on the medium tires. I think the medium tires are definitely getting a little bit faster, but it won't be enough for the Reaper, I'm afraid. Also because he doesn't have too much ERS saved. He will definitely be slower coming through that fast part of the track, where he does need to use a lot of ERS. Let's go on board with Oranje Boom Brown at the moment in Sector 1, entering Sector 2. He's got a little bit of traffic right in front of him, that Mercedes and that Red Bull. Not sure if they're on the fast lap. Murph in the pits. It's not that Mercedes driver. It's going to be Sean, who is on an out lap. And who is the Red Bull driver? It might be the Reaper or might be Chef Badger. The Reaper is currently already in Sector 2. Chef Badger is going to start his fast lap pretty soon. Might want to go on board with the Red Bull driver. Here comes Oranje Boom Brown right behind Sean. And it doesn't look like he is struggling too much here around China. China, not my favorite track, if I'm being honest. It's not a good racing track. You usually have a lot of collisions here coming through this Sector 3. Or Sector 2 or Sector 1, whatever all sectors you have collisions, especially sector 1. Because of that little snail part of the track, you've got that turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Very difficult corner section for the guys to nail, and it's a different braking zone for everyone depending on if you're running ABS, if you're running no ABS, if you're running DC off, if you're running DC on. Looks like Aurelio Bone Brown went a little bit too deep coming through that last, well, penultimate lap. Penultimate corner. Here he comes. Oh, and that's going to be no invalidation. That's quite surprising. Puts himself in puts himself in oh my days. P11 for now. But Chef Badger is the one to look at. Is he going to be able to compete with Youngie and the rest of those drivers? Let's have a quick look. A lot of guys on the intermediates. Bitomo, the only one in the top 5 to go into the soft tires. As I think he might think that the soft tires are still... Oh, and I think Bitomo has taken the right guess because DRS has been enabled. And that usually means that it's dry enough to go into the slicks. Bitomo is the one to look at. Also Melanade. Tenastic, Foxy, all those guys on the soft tires. I think Youngie, Vettel have all done a bad guess. Youngie is currently coming around sector 2. He might not make it in time. He might not make it in time across the line. That is not great by the McLaren driver. I think he has got a provisional pole, but will it be enough for Youngie? I couldn't tell you. I don't think it will. 19 more seconds. It won't be enough for Youngie. He'll have to come back into the pits or come across the line, as he's almost going to slide through turn 11. Oh, and he goes too deep into that corner too. It won't be a better time for Youngie, who's still on that lap. Let's focus on Tomo here. And let's see how much he's improving by coming through sector 2. He's really pushing the limits of the car. Youngie already came across the line. He's going to be the first or the second or the third one. Not being able to put a time. Matko only in P15. Quite a surprising result by the Aston Martin driver. And here comes Sean on the intermediates. It's our provisional pole for now, but Tomo is improving by 6/10. Where would that place him? It would place him possibly in the top 5. And Vettel now coming across the line, 140.0. How much will Tomo be improving by? Will it be enough to put himself on pole? He needs to improve by 1.4 seconds. No, 2.4 seconds. 2.4 seconds is the time he needs to improve by. And I don't think it will be enough for the Ferrari driver. He got dropped back to P8. Geldi on the intermediates. It seems like the intermediates are still better than the soft tires. Oh, and Geldi. Oh, and Tomo invalidates. It would have been a 141.0, placing him somewhere around P5. Youngie got dropped back to P6. Geldi with a provisional pole. Is there anyone else able to improve by anything? Murph was still on the fast lap. He's got that annoying Red Bull right in front of him. I think that might have caused him to slow down a little bit. Here comes Murph around the last corner. I think it would have been a pole for Murph. I think it would have been a pole if he didn't get held up. Improved by 1.8 seconds. Murph in P4. Mr. Insomniac with a surprising P3. And Vindog still in the fast lap. He's the only one still being able to put a better time in than the pole time, but it doesn't look like it. Vindog coming across the line. It will only be good for a P14 for the Williams driver. But Geldi runs away with the pole time here in Shanghai. He's the only one to put a 139 on the board. You could definitely see that the track was getting faster, but not fast enough for the slick tires. The guys who have gone onto the intermediate tires have made the right guess. I was completely wrong, but I guess it is what it is. Here we've got the standings for tonight. I mean the results. Geldi on pole position with a 139.9. Vettel in P2 and Mr. Insomniac to Yo Seko. How are you doing, mate? Appreciate the cheers. Mr. Insomniac in P3 to fulfill the top 3. Murph in P4 and Foxy in P5. Further, we've got Sean, Rhino Hussey, Youngie, Melanate, Groen, Apex Joe, Tomo, Tenastic, Vindog, Badger, Reaper only in P16. Aurelio Bone Brown, Matko, Widget, and X, who's 9 seconds slower than Geldi. As it does look like Geldi is OP, like Seko Photo in the chat is saying. How are you doing, Seko? I'm just going to check out my Discord and the YouTube video as I obviously want the best quality for you guys. I've got 4 messages. What is this? Apex Joe is always... He's my little fangirl. Apex, if you're in the chat, mate. I appreciate it. My little fangirl. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. So we're currently in... Oh, apparently... let me have a quick look here. So, Seko OP in the chat. Seko Photo in the chat. Oh, I've got the hearts. Is that from Apex Joe? I think it is. So, Seko Photo in the chat says, I'm fine, thanks. Good luck to you all. So, everyone who's watching the live stream, who's racing in Division 2 or Division 1, because I think Division 1 would have finished their qualifying too. Everyone in Div 1, everyone in Div 2, good luck to you. It's China, so everyone does need the luck. A little bit of, you know, a little bit of luck, a little bit of practice, and a little bit of pace. That is all you need in Shanghai. Oh, we've got no formation lap. 5 red lights here in Singapore for the Formula 1 Racing League. It's 5 red lights, and away we go. And a very bad start from Mr. Insomniac. What happened there? We've got Vettel already up in P2. Murphy's trying to go down the inside. He backs out of it. Sean up into P4. Foxy losing positions. Youngie down the inside of the Haas driver, having the outside line. And Vindog retired from the session. First virtual safety car. Is there any damage being done? Everyone is racing. Let's have a quick look what the strategies are looking like. A lot of guys on the mediums, but also on the hard tires. Geldy, who started on the mediums. Vettel on the hard tires. And it seems like Foxy got that position back from Youngie. Did anything happen between Vindog and Youngie? I don't think so, because Vindog was all the way at the back of the grid. Let's have a quick look with the position changes. Mr. Insomniac dropped 11 positions. I think he was hoping for a formation lap, didn't see it was coming. And then we've got, I mean, we had no formation lap, so when you're racing and you're still in AI mode, you're going to be very, very slow. Coming back on track is just going to glitch a little bit, so that might have caused Vindog to crash out. It was somewhere around that position that Vindog was, so that might have been the issue. We've got green flags, and go, go, go! Groen on the tail of Sean at the moment, coming through that last part of the track. It seems like Melonade is trying to get past the Aston Martin driver. Down the straight they go, so it also depends on how much straight line speed the guys have coming through this long straight. Seems like Melonade has quite a bit. Here he comes with a little bit of slipstream. The guys here down the inside. Yo, Rhino Hussey trying to make a move down the inside. But the room was not there. I don't think he should have gone for that. Sean getting past Youngie. Youngie's still trying to go down the inside there, coming around the last corner, but the room was not there, unfortunately. Let's have a quick look. There's a little bit of a group forming here in P6, behind P6. Now Groen trying to make the overtake on Youngie. Down the inside he goes. The room was not there, I'm afraid. Groen has to patiently wait coming through Sector 1. And Sector 2 or Sector 3 is where he can attack. Doesn't seem like he's got too much straight line speed if we compare Groen's to Melanade's straight line speed. So I do think that Melanade, the AlphaTauri driver, might be able to make an overtake down the straight. And Bowden Matko and the Reaper coming into the pits at the moment. Let's focus on the tires again, as Groen is on those medium tires. So it would be realistic if he made that overtake on Youngie already coming through Sector 2, because he's on the faster tire, Melanade on the hard tires. So all the medium tires need to benefit from the fact here on the faster tire at the moment, because otherwise they're going to be a little bit slower at the end of the race. And they're definitely going to lose a bit of time. Medium soft or hard mediums is the right strategy according to the game. Rhino Hussey now managed to make the overtake on Foxy. Foxy with a little bit of understeer coming through turn 9. Or turn 10. I couldn't tell you which turn that was. And he lost a little bit of time coming through that turn 11. Here comes Youngie. Has a lot of straight line speed. Took the slipstream from the Haas driver. From the Mercedes driver, I'm afraid. Sean, who's got nothing else to do. I mean, cannot do anything about it. Or he can brake very, very late to keep the McLaren driver behind him. Groen, what an overtake from the Aston Martin driver on the McLaren driver. Groen with the switchback. What a move from the Aston Martin driver. Beautiful overtake by Groen on the mediums. Youngie might be frustrated. Got overtaken by 2 drivers instead of making the overtake on Sean. Sean still in P6, 1.5 seconds behind Foxy. As we've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. That might be one of the Alfa Romeos. Oranjeboom Brown and Widget both coming into the pits. Might want to go on board with Murph. And the Mercedes driver not doing a bad job on those medium tires. Still hanging around that half a second of Vettel. And Vettel keeping the toe of Geldy, even being on those hard tires, is not a problem for the German driver. Will this be his first race win of the season? Vettel, who I don't think is in the top 10 of the Drivers' Championship. He's not indeed. His teammate is Donastic, who's currently in P15. And I think the top 15 scores points here in the Formula 1 Racing League. We might want to go on board with Tomo, who's on the tail of Melanade. Melanade has been, you know, you've got a little bit of a group forming of the hard tires. We've got 4 hard tire drivers running behind each other. Driving behind each other is what I should say. Apex Joe, Tomo, Melanade, Youngie. Oh, Apex Joe, I think he's going to get overtaken by Mr. Insomniac. And Mr. Insomniac told me to look a little bit more at his moves. And here he's going to make one. Down the inside he goes off the Alpine driver, Apex Joe. And a very unfortunate overtake for Apex Joe. Nothing he could have done there, Mr. Insomniac, who had the slipstream and possibly used a little bit of ERS. Maybe Apex Joe can make that move again with the use of a little bit more downforce than the Ferrari driver, although he needs to keep that toe. Here comes Youngie on the tail of the Groen. Oh, and he makes the overtake. Youngie has got enough room down the inside. I think Groen was closing in a little bit, and I think Youngie got scared seeing that Aston Martin closing down that gap quite a bit. He backed out of it. On the hard tires, it's not always easy to back out of a move. Because even when you press the brakes, you're always going to shoot a little bit through. Mainly because you don't have too much grip on the tires. The Reaper with a 135.6. He's going to be putting the fastest lap on the board for now. It seems like Oranjeboom Brown is on the tail of the Red Bull driver. The Reaper is definitely going to lose a lot of time, a lot of positions due to his bad performance here in China. He's currently P2 in the Drivers' Championship, but he's got Rhino Hussey right in his neck. Oh, and Groen is lagging a little bit, it seems like. Yellow flag in Sector 2, that is going to be X, who has managed to get from P20 all the way to P15 already. Murph just got past the German driver down the straight. And it seems like they're kind of losing the toe of Geldy at the moment. I wouldn't suggest Vettel to battle too much with Murph. Mainly because that means they're going to lose a little bit more time. Here he comes around the outside. Murph is going to close that gap again to Geldy, hopefully. But Vettel cannot battle too much with Murph. The more they battle, the more time they're going to lose to Geldy. That is definitely not something that Vettel or Murph would want. Because that also means that Rhino Hussey is going to get back to those two. And it's going to be a 3-way battle. Foxy now on the tail of Sean. Sean who's running those medium tires. So it's very important to keep Foxy right behind him at the moment, because he will be on the faster tire. And if Foxy is already faster on the hards compared to the mediums, you know, you will be losing many positions from the guys who are all running hard tires behind you, because, you know, he's on the medium tires right now, which means he will be on the hard tires or the soft tires at the end of the race. If he goes onto the medium tires at the end, hard tires at the end of the race, he will even be slower than Foxy on the medium tires. Foxy almost losing the car there. Coming through that fast left-hander. He's kind of losing the toe of Sean. I think Sean is putting some pressure on the shoulders of Foxy. And, you know, he might want to make Foxy make a mistake. Because if Foxy makes a mistake, that means that Groen is going to make the overtake on Foxy. And there's going to be a couple of tenths lost for both of those drivers. Melonade now still on the tail of Groen. It seems like it's a 5-way battle for P6 at the moment. Youngie, you drop back to P9, unfortunately. Tomo on the tail. And a lot of guys battling for that possible P6. Vettel did not manage to get past Murph at the moment. I want to go back to Youngie here. And a lot of guys have got the DRS at the moment, so they will be able to benefit from that DRS. But it's just a matter of time before that DRS gets broken. Seems like Vettel just got overtaken by Rhino Hussey. It seems like the medium tires are still faster than the hard tires at this point of the race. Groen manages to get the overtake on Foxy. Foxy still down the inside he goes. Groen Nothing he could have done there. And is he going to do the same to the AlphaTauri driver like he did to Youngie before? And it does look like it closed down that gap on Melonade down the inside coming through turn 2. And it seems like Groen is really, really lagging a little bit. Goes down the inside a little bit too deep through turn 5. Is that going to cause any damage to Foxy? Doesn't look like it. Foxy with a switchback. He's side by side with Groen at the moment coming through turn 7. Oh, and it seems like Melonade is trying to get involved in this heavy battling. Here comes Melonade around the outside. Foxy down the inside. And Groen is really, really lagging at the moment. That's really annoying to race against as a racing driver. Melonade is losing 2 positions. Oh, and here comes Tomo down the inside of Youngie. Youngie's still around the outside. Is he going to give up? It does look like it. Tomo takes P8 from Youngie at the moment. And Melonade trying to keep Mr. Insomniac. Oh, Mr. Insomniac in the wall. Well, off track at least. That's really annoying for Mr. Insomniac. He's on those medium tires, so he will be on the slower tire at the end of the race. Vettel still sticking on the toe. And he will be able to use DRS at the moment. Melonade, let's go on board with him. He's just made the overtake on Youngie apparently. They're kind of losing the toe of Tomo. They're 1.1 seconds behind, so that does mean that Youngie will have the DRS on Melonade, while Melonade doesn't have any DRS at the moment. How much DRS does he have left? Not too much. How much does Melonade have left? Not too much. Pete Tomo is still managing to save some ERS for a last lap battle. I mean, maybe a last lap battle before they come into the pits. Oh, and a safety car situation. Someone has crashed out. That is possibly going to be Tenastic. All the way in P15. Drops back to P16. And I think he'll have to come into the pits with a broken front wing. Murph manages to get into P3. And we've got a drive-through penalty for Chef Badger. Who manages to get into the P13. But unfortunately is going to drop a lot of positions due to that drive-through penalty. And let's have a quick look. Rhino Hussey manages to gap all the way from P7 to P2 already. Gained 5 positions doing that. And Groen gained 4 positions coming from P10, currently in P6. Mr. Insomniac being the biggest loser, starting in P3, a drop back all the way to P12. Lost 9 positions underway. We've got X with possibly the most positions gained, apart from Rhino Hussey then. And I really wonder if anyone is going to come into the pits. It does look like the guys at the back of the grid are already coming into the pits. And the guys on the medium tires, I would suggest them to come to the pits. Although I do think there's going to be a late safety car at the end of this race. So it's just a matter of time before the guys have to come into the pits again to go into the soft tires, possibly at the end of the race if there is a late safety car. It seems like the Mercedes driver is coming into the pits. Rhino Hussey is staying out. Rhino Hussey stays out and is the only one on the medium tires to stay out. Even Vettel on the hard tires comes into the pits. Foxy stays out too. And it seems like Melonade on the medium tires is no, he's on the hard tires. Melonade stays out too. The guys on the hard tires, not a bad decision if you ask me. As you know, Vettel still has to tackle 20 laps on those medium tires, which is obviously not a great, rest of the race. Because I think those medium tires will be done for around lap 20, 22, 23 maybe. Then he still has to race on those mediums for 5 more laps. Nastic did manage to come into the pits. Changes front wing possibly. As usually if there is a crash happening and there is no damage, there wouldn't be any safety cars. So I do think he got a front wing change. But I could be wrong. Reaper getting back into P12. He got that drive-through penalty. No, it was Jeff Badger. It was Jeff Badger. He cannot serve that penalty in the pit lane, I think. Or did he already say serve it? Did he already serve it? I'm not sure, actually. I don't think he did. No, he didn't. Because he got that drive-through penalty during this safety car situation. So, for everyone who doesn't know, you cannot serve a drive-through penalty during a safety car situation. So, he'll have to serve that drive-through when the safety car has come back into the pits. Murph dropped back to P6. All the guys in front of him are on all tires except for Geldy. Geldy, who still leads the pack of guys who came into the pits. The lead of the race is currently Rhino Hussey. the only one who was on old medium tires who kept those medium tires. And then we've got, of course, the 3 hard tire runners in P2, P3, and P4. Apex Joe did not come into the pits. He's got a good track position at the moment, and he just has to hope for a late safety car. The guys on the hard tires might have to hope for a late safety car so that they can go on to the soft tires to finish off the race, or possibly the medium tires, depending on when that safety car comes out. But in my opinion, it's a good strategy. The guys on the medium tires who just came into the pits to go onto the medium tires will not be able to score too many points, I'm afraid. Oh, 1 second, guys. Well, they are going to score many points, but I don't think they'll win the race if there is a late safety car. Simply because, you know, they've already come into the pits. They will score quite a few positions doing that. I mean, they lost a few, but they're going to score them back because they're on fresher tires. And they still will have to come into the pits, I'm afraid. So everyone who's gone from mediums to mediums, there's quite a few people actually going from mediums to mediums. I do think there's going to be a late safety car. So looking at that, it's not a bad strategy. But you're risking the fact that there's going to be no late safety car at the end of the race. So it's kind of a lost pit stop, if I'm being honest. It would have been better to go into the hard tires, if you started on the medium tires, of course, to finish off the race. Because if there's no late safety car, you don't have to come into the pits anymore, and now they're obliged to come back into the pits. Well, I guess it is what it is. We've been talking about strategies for the whole safety car already, which is kind of boring. By the way, guys, I'm using a new program, which is the sponsor of King of Leagues, also King of Leagues, which is happening tomorrow. So I'm wishing both qualifying drivers good luck. One of them is Dunsby. One of the other guys is Sheepy Kev. Sheepy Kev, a Div 1 racer. I think Dunsby is a Div 1 racer too, but I could be wrong. And they're going to battle against 38 other qualifying drivers. Well, not 38 anymore. It's 34 other qualifying drivers. There will be 36 in total. Because 2 teams, well, actually in total 5 teams have dropped out, but you know, we managed to restore 3 teams. Do we have 3 teams? Wait, isn't it? I think it is. I don't think we've got 18 teams. I think we've got 17 teams. I'm gonna have a look at that. Did I miscalculate it? Let me have a quick look. It's also important for you guys, because if you're in pool 2 or pool 3 or pool 4, you might need 5 drivers instead of 6, but I could be wrong. Let me have a quick look. Alright, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh no, we've got 18 drivers. Perfect. Drivers, no, not drivers, teams. And I can already give you some information about what's going to happen, what the prize pools are, all that kind of stuff. So it will be 18 teams. Tomorrow, Dunsby will be racing in the late qualifying, if I'm not mistaken, and GPKF will be in the early qualifying. So the early qualifying starts at 7:20 p.m. UK time, where GPKF will be going up against 17 other qualifying drivers from other teams in one big full qualifying. Dunsby will do the same at 8:30 p.m. UK time. And based on their performances, we will be making a list of all 36 drivers who have done the full qualifying. And based on that list, we will put every team in a pool. And hopefully, you know, Formula 1 Racing League, they've not managed to get into pool 1 during the second event. And they did not get an amazing result during the third event. So I'm really hoping they would get either in pool 2 or pool 3. That would be amazing for them. But I guess it is what it is. The prize pool will be 35 pounds for the winner of pool 1, 30 pounds for the P2 of pool 1, and then 20 pounds of for P3 of pool 1. The winner of pool 2 gets 25 pounds, the winner of pool 3 gets 20 pounds, and the winner of pool 4 gets 10 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's something like that, I don't know. But we've got green flags, still 18 more laps to go. Rhino Hussey is the one leading this formation lap as he's coming around the penultimate corner. And he's going to go already, it seems like. Foxy did not get caught sleeping. Although 5/10 behind, the McLaren driver might get caught sleeping a little bit. Oh, Rhino Hussey really takes a big track limit going off that track a little bit there. Coming around the last corner. Melonade on the tail of Foxy. Here he comes on those hard tires. And Rhino Hussey is definitely going to be frustrated because he'll have to come into the pits pretty soon. Will he be going? Oh, and Geldy making the overtake. Apex Joe losing the car, going off track and cuts the corner. Hopefully he's not going to get a penalty doing that. Yellow flag in sector 2. Is that Foxy? Foxy crashed out. The Haas driver drops back to P18 right behind his teammate. And not sure what happened to Apex Joe. I think he just lost his car there. Oh, almost going to the back of someone. That was Pete Tomo, possibly. What is Groen going to do? Vettel dropped back 1 position to Geldy. 2 positions, actually. No, 1 position to Geldy. No, he didn't. Wait, did he lose a position? I don't think he did he? No, I don't think he did. Foxy being on those hard tires might have not been the best strategy. Here comes Geldy making the overtake on Melonade. Down that little straight into turn 10 they go. Now Geldy is up for a big battle with Rhino Hussey. He's got the faster tire. He's got more pace than the McLaren driver. So it will be piece of cake for the Alpine driver here coming down the straight. He will possibly not make the overtake down the straight. Doesn't have any ERS left. He drained everything through sector 1 and sector 2. He's got 40% left. And how much does Rhino Hussey still have in the tank? 80%. So Rhino Hussey is definitely in the advantage here ERS-wise. Seems like Melonade is having a heated battle. Vettel trying to make the overtake again on the McLaren driver, around the AlphaTauri driver. Around the outside he goes. And Melonade is leaving him enough space. Groen going off track there by quite a bit. I think he must have gotten a penalty doing that. No, he didn't get a penalty. I do think he got a track warning. Tomo 3/10, as it seems like Geldy already made the overtake on Rhino Hussey. Rhino Hussey trying to make the switchback work, but those medium tires of Geldy are just way too powerful at this point during the race. Sean trying to get past Melonade as soon as possible. Melonade running those 11 lap old hards. It should be a piece of cake too for Sean trying to get past the AlphaTauri driver, but Melonade has just been a very good defensive power already. Seems like Elias in the chat. Oi mate, unfortunate, I had to work. I wanted to race tonight for Division 1. So that is very unfortunate, Elias. I know you're a very consistent guy. I know you're there every week, but you know, it is what it is. If you don't manage to get time or find time to race shouldn't be your first priority. It should be life. That's what a lot of guys say to me if I can't come. Oh, look at that, Sean around the outside of Melonade. Beautiful overtake by the Englishman, and now Vettel. No, it's not Vettel, it's Tomo around the outside making the overtake. Oh, look at that, Tomo with a beauty. It's what a lot of league owners say to me when I don't manage to come. So wait, we've got a yellow flag in sector 2. That is going to be X. And Vettel got past Murph. Finally, the German driver is going to be able to close that gap to Geldy. Might want to go on board with Rhino Hussey again. Comes into the pits on the 11 lap old mediums. DRS has been enabled again. Vettel with the fastest lap for now. Being on those fresh mediums. I think Vettel feels really comfortable on those medium tires. He was able to keep up with Geldy while Vettel was on the hard tires. Geldy on the medium tires. So it should be a problem closing down that gap. Mr. Insomniac also making the move on Murph. On Apex Joe, his next target is going to be Groen. I'm going to go on board with Sean here again. Pitomo is going to get eaten raw by the Mercedes driver pretty soon. Pitomo, who doesn't manage to get back to the toe of Murph, so he finds himself in a Mercedes sandwich at the moment. And you know what I always say, being in the sandwich isn't always that bad, but it is when you are racing in a Formula 1 car. Pitomo manages to break away from Sean at the moment. created 1 second gap to the Mercedes driver. I'm not sure whether Sean is going to have the DRS. I'm not sure where that DRS detection point is either. It seems like Youngie managed to make the overtake. Wasn't very smart because he's not going to have the DRS. I think Melonade, on the other hand, will have the DRS on the McLaren driver. Here comes Melonade. DRS wide open. ERS wide open. He still has a lot of ERS left. He's not going to use any ERS because he's got that DRS. So no point in using the ERS because he's going to make that overtake anyway. Groen, no, they're going 3 wide into turn 14. And Groen, his Wi-Fi is definitely not helping him. Melonade in P7. It seems like Youngie managed to make the overtake again. They're losing the toe to Sean at the moment. Sean also losing the toe of Domo. 1.8 seconds behind the Ferrari driver. And I think Domo has done a great job. He went onto the soft tires during the qualifying. Did not manage to get any time off his qualifying time. Well, he invalidated during that last corner. So that means that he qualified in P12. Is in P4 at the moment with a good result already. 8 positions gained. He's going to be the biggest winner already. Rhino Hussey dropped back to P15. He has got a real bad strategy. Stayed out on those old medium tires, which means he's all the way in P15. Dropped 8 positions. Foxy, not sure what he was doing. He crashed out at some point during the race, during the safety car restart. You might want to go on board with Mr. Insomniac again before he starts complaining that I don't show him enough, Mr. Insomniac. I'm just laughing, mate. I'm just laughing, mate. And he's got that annoying Wi-Fi bullet in front of him. The Wi-Fi bullet is kind of sliding all over the place. It's going to be a struggle getting past Groen at the moment. DRS wide open for Mr. Insomniac. And it doesn't look like he's got too much straight line speed. He's not using any ERS either. Groen sliding all over the place, glitching all over the place. But he manages to make that overtake. I don't think Melonade was going to do anything silly. Except for a switchback maybe on the Aston Martin driver. Around the outside he goes, but he backs out of it. Insomniac still waiting. Oh, look at that. Melonade with a beautiful overtake. Rune with a very awkward line. And he's just glitching back and forward at this point. It's very difficult for the guys to leave enough space for Groen because you never know where he's going to end up in. Look at that. Groen glitching all over the place. They really need to do something about that. Now he glitched in front of the... Oh, this is really bad. Rhino Hussey on the hard tires. He manages to get the fastest lap, 135.3. Mr. Insomniac almost going into the back of Melonade there. Groen still in P7. I do think Groen is very, very fast. I just think he's got bad Wi-Fi. And you know what the problem is with having bad Wi-Fi? You'll have to make an investment into good Wi-Fi to be able to race. But you're already paying $80 a year for a game. You're paying how many bucks for PS Plus if you're running PlayStation, of course. I'm not sure if he's on PlayStation. He is indeed on PlayStation. So you might be on PS4 too. You're making an investment into a steering wheel. If you're using a steering wheel, you're making an investment in a couple of things. You know, electricity. It's just a lot. It's just a lot, and you might not have the funds to invest into good Wi-Fi, or you just have a very bad connection to your Wi-Fi provider. I don't know what it is, but it is what it is. Or he's just not connected to cable. That's also an option. Vettel manages to get back to Geldy. They're right behind each other, and Geldy, he'll have to put some performance on the table because otherwise that German driver is just going to run away with the position. Vettel has just been very consistent this race already. Qualified in P2, and he's still in P2. He's hopefully going to overtake the Austrian driver who is in P1, Geldy. I think he's half English, half Austrian, but I could be wrong. I'm just going to say Austrian because I know he's Austrian for sure. Half Austrian or whatever. I think his mom or his dad is Austrian. Whatever. Shouldn't matter too much. I mean, it does matter because now we've got a little German battle. Is Austrian actually a language? I don't think they just speak German, don't they? In Belgium, well, in Dutch we say a Duits onderrondje, which means, I don't know how I should translate that. An onderrondje. But doesn't matter too much. Here comes Vettel, the German, down the straight with the use of DRS. Is going to use all of his DRS already because he doesn't have any ERS in the tank. Geldy still has a lot of saved. Oh no, he doesn't have any either. Look at that. He drained everything down that straight to keep the German driver behind him, but it was not enough for Geldy. Now Murph is trying to get back into the top 3. Tomo has just been so consistent, so fast, so powerful during this race. He gained 9 positions. Let's go back to the tires. The top 7 has come into the pits. Oh, and Murph trying to go down the inside. He saw a little bit of room. Tomo was just too fast, closing down that gap. And nothing Murph could have done. He had to back out of the dive bomb, and that's something that Tomo does very well. He just doesn't leave any room for overtakes. There's almost no room for improvement for Tomo. He's just fast already. He's just consistent already. He's just beautiful defense already. He's just, good attacking already. He's just the man on track at the moment. He's also in the top 5 in the Drivers' Championship, so he really needs those points to get back to the top 3 and climb up the ladder. And scoring a P3 is definitely going to give some advantages. Seeing that Rhino Hussey is currently in P11, seeing that Youngie is only in P6. Oh, and Murph down the inside of Tomo. Beautiful overtake. Who's going to have the DRS? I do think that's going to be Tomo. Or is it going to be Murph? I'm not sure. Let's have a quick look. DRS wide open for who? It will be DRS open for Tomo, so he keeps the position down the straight. Might want to go on board with the back of Melanate, who got dropped back all the way to P14 because of that pit stop. Still 11 more laps to go. Let's go back to Geldy as they come across the line to start lap 18. Still 10 more laps to go after this one. I think Geldy is kind of losing the toe a bit. Both drivers don't have any ERS left. Both have under 10% of ERS, which is obviously a very, very low. Sean just got overtaken by Youngie. Rhino Hussey seems to have made the overtake on Matko. Matko is coming into the pits though. Let's go back to Sean here. Oh, Widget making the overtake on Tenastic. Tenastic coming into the pits. Had a little bit of an unlucky collision with the wall, possibly coming around that penultimate lap, penultimate corner. Let's have a quick look. Mr. Insomniac making the overtake on Groen finally. As I think there is a Haas driver who left the session. That is going to be X. Geldy has caught up to Vettel again. Here they come. DRS wide open for the Austrian. Ran turn at 11. You can see it's an interesting track, China. It's a track unlike any other track. You don't have, Sector 1 is a track where, a sector where you don't have that kind of corner sections anywhere on any other track. Sector 3, the beginning of Sector 3, neither. So it's like two very unique corner sections. And because of the guys don't usually... Oh, it seems like Vettel is coming into the pits. What strategy is he going for? Soft tires, possibly, to finish off the race? Possibly. I think he is going for soft tires. Where would that end him? Oh, Vettel. Youngie coming into the pits too. Murph is losing the toe of Tomo. But as I was saying, the guys not being used to these kind of corner sections gives them an opportunity to improve and practice. But it also brings a lot of mistakes with it. Because usually the guys, let's say turn 9, turn 10, Cops Corner in Silverstone, you have a lot of corners like that around a lot of tracks. Turn 5 here in Austria, in China, you've got a lot of turn 5s in other tracks that look like that. The only problem there is a lot of guys already know how to tackle that corner, so they don't think they need to do any practice through that corner. It just, it's very, very strange. Because Sector 1 in China, you don't have any other sector looking like that on any other track. It's just a corner section that is very difficult to tackle and all that kind of stuff. It seems like there's a little bit of chaos going on here in sector 3. And also Widget finds himself in difficult papers with Yankee on his tail. Yankee, he's on those soft tires, so he will make easy work out of this. And Geldy now coming into the pits. Did Vettel make a undercut work? I would say so. Tomo coming into the pits. Murph is going to stay out. Seems like Mr. Insomniac is also going to stay out on those 11 Leopold Hearts. He's got a penalty though. He does have one pit stop ahead. Can make Geldy up for that. I think Vettel is about 9 or 10 seconds behind Mr. Insomniac at the moment. 6 seconds, only 6 seconds. So that is a very big gap, but also a small gap because he is on the fresh soft tires. I think he will possibly be winning this race. Geldy lost. What is that? Geldy was in front of Vettel when he came to the pits. No, he was right behind him, but he was within 1 second. And now he lost about 4 seconds to the German driver. So they also have Rhino right in between them. So Rhino is going to play a little bit of an advantage into Vettel's part. He's going to be an obstacle for Geldy to get past. I do think Rhino Hussey is going to try and battle his way into the top 3. Mainly because Mr. Insomniac, he still has to come to the pits or will stay out. Murph still has to come to the pits. So Rhino Hussey, as things are looking like right now, Rhino Hussey is going to score P3. But it's just a matter of time before Geldy is going to close that gap to the McLaren driver. Geldy, who's just been very consistent. Gained 2 seconds coming through that Sector 1 and Sector 2. Let's go back to Melanate here. It seems like Sean and Tenastic are having a heated battle. Sean, who's on those soft tires, so it would be logic if he makes that overtake on Tenastic pretty soon. Melanate now getting past Widget 2. They're going 3 wide. It seems like DRS wide open for Sean. Will he make that overtake? Doesn't look like it. They're not using DRS. What is happening? Why are they not using the DRS? Sean getting past Tenastic. Possibly down the inside he goes, but he brakes quite early. And leaves enough space for Tenastic to make that corner work. Murph coming into the pits. He already switched to the soft tires, but he's going to get behind Tomo. Tomo went onto the medium tires. Possibly did not have any softs left to use. It seems like Murph got in front of that Haas driver. Bruno not gets the fastest lap. Very interesting. 135.0 as Geldy is on the tail of Rhino Hussey. Seems like that's going to be a very pretty battle between both of those drivers. Very experienced drivers. Geldy, who was almost the winner of Division last season, Division 2. And he saw his main competitor go to Division 1. And Geldy was the one to stay in Division 2. Goes under the curb a little bit too much. Lost a bit of time to Rhino Hussey. Rhino Hussey, of course, one of those guys who I think is capable of going into Div 1. But I mean, if the drivers don't want to go to Div 1, it is what it is. You know, might be the same boat for Geldy. As it does have a lot of speed coming through that long right-hander. DRS wide open for Geldy. Look at Rhino Hussey going a little bit to the right, saying to Geldy, cannot get past me without a fair battle, but Geldy said bye-bye. Still has not enough ERS left. Rhino Hussey has a lot of ERS left. Look at that. How much does he have saved? Less than 20% though. Vettel caught up to Mr. Insomniac, so that will be a very spicy battle between both of those drivers too. They're quite familiar with each other, but are they familiar enough to not cause any issues? Vettel around the outside. Look at that move from the German driver. And he's going to be putting the car around the outside still. Mr. Insomniac is going to let him pass. No point in battling between those two. Because Mr. Insomniac is running a different strategy. Still 6 more laps to go. And what is his penalty looking like? 3 seconds for Mr. Insomniac. So we will probably lose a position to Geldy, but I don't think Rhino Hussey will be able to catch up to Mr. Insomniac, if I'm being honest. Sean caught up to Tenastic again, and Tenastic caught up to Melanate. And both those drivers running fresh medium tires. So I think Sean at the end of this race will struggle a little bit on the soft tires. But whereas the guys on the mediums will be, you know, the tires won't be decorated that much. They won't be overheated that much. While I do think that Sean will be struggling coming through Sector 2. As he does make a move down the inside, though. Look at that. Beautiful overtake from Sean. Has the inside line at the moment, but that's not always the line you want to have coming through turn 11. As you can see, the Nastic has a lot of straight line speed at the moment. Both drivers having the DRS. And in my opinion, that Mercedes car, you don't see that the wing is opening. Oh, the Nastic almost going into the back of Melonade. A yellow flag in Sector 2 might be the Haas car. And it is indeed going to be the Haas car. It might be Foxy. It's not going to be Foxy. But Matko did manage to get back to Foxy. 6/10 between those two. And nobody else is within 1 second of each other. Foxy, who seems to be coming into the pits. Not sure what he's doing at the moment. Nastic, as I said before, caught up to Melonade. But will it be enough for the Alfa Romeo driver? I couldn't tell you. It seems like Sean has got that penalty though, so even if he makes the overtake, he won't be able to get that position on track after the penalties. I mean, it will get that position on track, but after the penalties, after the standings and all the calculations, he won't be able to get in front of Melonade and Tenastic. And Groen has caught up quite a bit, 3 seconds already for the Aston Martin driver. He's still got the fastest lap, I think. There's a heavy battling going on between the McLarens and the Ferraris. Mr. Insomniac still in P2. It seems like Tomo finds himself in the McLaren sandwich. Down the straight they go. A DRS wide open for Tomo. He is on the fresh medium, so not a very fair battle for Rhino Hussey. He's got no DRS, he's got no fresh tires, and Tomo can just run away at this point. It's like Youngie does need to get past his teammate pretty soon. Galdi making the overtake on Mr. Insomniac. Why is he coming into the pits? Why is Mr. Insomniac coming into the pits? Oh man, he should have stayed out on those hard tires to finish off the race with. Going on to the soft tires will just drop him even more positions. He will be behind the Aston Martin, which is Groen. Let's go back to Youngie and Rhino Hussey. Both drivers, of course, teammates. We saw some interesting things happening in Mexico where both drivers, well, actually I'm not sure who ran away with the race win there, but I'm pretty sure Youngie should have gotten that race win. Didn't get it because his teammate tapped him from behind. And I know these guys are both very good friends of each other, or at least practice quite a bit with each other, and they had no pity towards each other, or is that even the right word? Like, they were not angry at each other. I mean, it should have been Youngie being angry at Rhino Hussey. But I'm pretty sure with such a good friendship, you're never going to be angry at someone for crashing you out or for tapping you a little bit, making you lose quite a bit of time to P1. And then, you know, yeah, I'll tell you the scenario, right? So it was P1 who had a 3-second time penalty. Murph seems to be doing quite all right here, though. But it was P1 with quite a bit of penalties. I think it was a 3-second time penalty. Youngie, who's getting past his teammate at the moment, going a little bit too deep. Rhino Hussey has to keep the Mercedes driver behind him. Will Youngie get overtaken? Murph around the outside. And it seems like Murph is indeed going to make the overtake. Keep going, bro. Who's saying in the chat, welcome. Here comes Murph, making the overtake on both the McLaren drivers. Around the outside he goes. And that's not very great. That's not a good strategy, a good position switch between both the McLarens. Youngie, who got given that position for free by Rhino Hussey, but it just went too deep into that corner, and Murph could benefit from that. There's also a very feisty battle going on between P9, P8, and P7, which is being led by Melonade at the moment. But here comes Rhino Hussey, still on the tail of Murph, but it will be very difficult on those hard tires, those old hard tires. But as I was saying, Mexico last lap battle, it was P1 who had a 3-second time penalty, P2 was Youngie, and P3 was Rhino Hussey. They were going back and forward. Rhino Hussey almost losing the car. I think it's time to let Youngie go past, and he is indeed gonna let, no, he's not gonna let his teammate go past. Ooh, Is he gonna let Murph run away? It does look like a DRS will be enabled for Youngie, so he will make that overtake on his teammate. But he's lost 2 seconds to Murph at this point. Geldy not managing to catch up to Vettel as they're heading into lap 26 out of the 28. So, let me finish off my story. Although we might want to focus on this battle. Sean will get overtaken. No, it is Dynastic making the overtake on Melanade. Also, Mr. Insomnia getting past Groon. Very interesting battle here between those two. Both running fresh soft tires, although Mr. Insomniac's fresh are a little bit better. Looks like Youngie finally got past Murph. But as I was saying, Mexico, P1 had a 3-second time penalty. And during the last lap, Youngie was actually catching up to P1 and then into turn 5, I think it was. Turn 4, turn 5. Rhino Hussey tapped him from the back and Youngie lost a bit of time. And he only came short about a couple of tenths. And if he didn't get tapped into turn 5 by his teammate, he would have gotten the race win. But we'll leave that behind us. I'm a little bit of a, you know, I like drama. I like pit lane drama, you know. It's good to tell on stream. So I guess it is what it is. Youngie 1.9 seconds, 2 seconds still behind Murph. I don't think he will catch up. Murph also being on the fresher soft tires. What I do see is that Geldy is catching up a little bit slightly to Vettel. But the biggest battle going on still at the end of the race is Melanade, Dynastic, and Sean at the moment. Melanade, who's kind of losing the toe a little bit off Dynastic. 3 tenths, 4 tenths. He will have the DRS down the straight. And I think Sean will also have the DRS. Will he be able to benefit from that? No, he's too far away. Melanade might be up for something. Here he comes. Down the inside he goes. And Melanade making the overtake. Beautiful overtake by Melanade. Dynastic is fighting back. Dynastic is fighting back. Around the outside he goes. Does he have a good... Oh, and they end up crashing each other out. Melanade, who's got a broken front wing. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. Dynastic ended up in the side of Melanade. I think Melanade knows. No, Dynastic knows he fucked up a little bit there. It was weaving a little bit coming through that last part of the track. Down the inside he goes off Melanade. And Dynastic will probably get a penalty for doing that. As you can see, the right side of the front wing is broken from Melanade. But he can still make it around the corners. 2 more laps to go. He can still get a P7. Because Dynastic would have gotten the penalty. Sean has got a penalty. Mr. Insomniac has got a penalty. So all of a sudden it's a 4-way battle instead of a 3-way battle. As you can see, Mr. Insomniac caught up to this little group of 3 people. Dynastic is now able to run away from Melanade. Sean is going down the inside. Around the outside he goes. Melanade is just going to let everyone go through. There's no point in battling with a broken front wing. Mr. Insomniac might be up for a move. Sean is not going to have the DRS coming through that main straight. If and only if he cannot catch up. It doesn't look like it. Here comes Mr. Insomniac on the tail of Sean. It will be enough. It will be enough. He will have the DRS. Will the Ferrari driver manage to get past Sean? It will be DRS wide open. ERS wide open for Dynastic. Mr. Insomniac. DRS wide open. And here he comes down the straight. Down the inside he goes. And it will be moved on. No, it won't be moved on. Sean once again trying to make a switchback work. Oh, and he loses the car. Sean lost the car into the last lap of the race. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. That is going to be X. With 2 minutes behind Chef Badger. And now here comes Melanade still trying to go around the outside. A very aggressive move by the AlphaTauri driver. I think Sean might definitely get frustrated by that. Let's go on board with Mr. Insomniac. Might still able to grab a P7 if Dynastic gets a 5-second time penalty for a collision with Melanade. It just matters. It just depends on if he gets a penalty. X is going to let everyone go through in Sector 2. As you can see, he's causing a yellow flag, but that's only because he's letting people go through. Beautiful sportsmanship, driving from X. Really appreciate that. And Mr. Insomniac is within the DRS zone of Dynastic. He's within that DRS 1 second. And it seems like Youngie has caught up to Murph too, but not in time. He won't have the DRS. He did a great job, pushing a little bit too much, pushing the limits. coming through turn 11 and he lost that time again. Here comes Mr. Insomniac. I don't think he needs to push by too much. One thing that I do see is that if the Nastic wouldn't have caused Melanade to get that penalty, he would have gotten P7. And we've got our race winner coming across the line. Congratulations to Vettel. Tomo in P3, well deserved. And Murph coming across the line in P4. What will Youngie be doing? P5, Rhino Hussey in P6. The Nastic coming across the last line. There is a Haas driver parking it down the inside there, as you can see, around the outside actually. Sean in P9 as Melanade gets that position anyway because Sean has got a penalty. Groen in P11, the Reaper in P12, but he will drop position to Apex Joe. Apex Joe in P12, not a bad position at all. The Reaper, who definitely lost a big opportunity here around China, mainly because he's P2 in the Drivers' Championship. And we've got Foxy in P15, Widget in P16, Chef Badger in P17, as he's still coming down that long straight. So a very interesting race, a lot of different strategies, and I think going from the mediums to, or from the hards to the mediums to the softs, I think is what Vettel did. Was the best strategy, and he's pulled that off quite nice. Geldy going from mediums to softs, also a very good strategy, and then Tomo going from the hards to the mediums, if I'm not mistaken. Came all the way from P12, managed to get P3 on the table. So he's going to be your biggest winner of the evening. He will possibly also be the driver of the day. As you can see, indeed, a driver of the day goes to Tomo. As we're just going to have a quick look with the results of tonight. German driver with his German flag coming on the podium. As it is going to be Vettel, your race winner here in China. Further, we've got Geldy and Tomo on the podium. And then we've got Murph and Youngie in the top 5. For the rest, we've got Rhino, the Nastic, Mr. Insomniac with the fastest lap, 1:33.8. Melanade in P9 and Sean in P10 to finish off the top 10. Further, we've got Groen, Apex Joe, the Reaper, Matko, Foxy, Widget, Chef Badger, and X. We've got our DNFs, Oranjeboom Brown, and Vindog. Vindog, we didn't manage to get around one lap of China, unfortunately. I'm not sure if he's done any practice, but he came from P14, dropped back to P20, and finished off the race in the pit lane. Foxy, our biggest loser, came from P5, a drop back to P15, which is quite unfortunate. Then we've got also Sean starting in P6, a drop back to P10. Very good race from the Nastic, came from P13 to P7, and then of course Tomo, who came from P12 to P3. So that is going to be your Chinese Grand Prix here in the Formula 1 Racing League. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm only one follower away from 100 followers, so that would be appreciated. And I will see you guys next week. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully we're going to have a great race. Will we be actually having a race? I'm not sure. It doesn't matter too much. We will be seeing each other next week if there is a race. Guys, my name is Phoebe Thomas. Make sure to follow my Twitch for the King of Leagues event, which is going to be happening tomorrow. I wish everyone who's taken a part from this league a very good luck. Sheepy Kevin Dunsby, I know you guys are taking part, so a good luck tomorrow, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. My name is Phoebe Thomas. Peace out.
I'm a danger, gotta quit while I'm ahead. Yeah, I've been running.